Good morning, students. Hope you are safe and sound at home. Hope you have seen all the 3 chapters sent to you previously in the different videos. That is chapter number 1, lesson 1 of history. Let's know the history. Then chapter number 14, that is civics, unity and diversity. And chapter number 9, that is geography, the earth and habitat. So students, these 2 chapters are the study for unit test. So see to it that you watch the videos and write the notes simultaneously, drawing the figures along with me. So students, now we come to the next chapter, that is lesson number 2 of history. This is the chapter of history, journey from primitive man to settled life. Now students, what do you mean by this? How a man or a human being started his life or his journey from being a primitive creature into a person having a settled life. How this transformation came to be. This we will see in this chapter. So students, let's start the chapter. The introduction goes in this way on page number 6. It's about a small boy named Xavier. Okay. So Xavier saw many things while going from one place to another. So he asks a doubt, and that is the introduction of the story. So let's see how it goes. It's on page 6, first paragraph of your chapter. It goes in this manner. Xavier and his family were going from Gandhinagar to Jamnagar in train. Sitting near the window, he saw trees, bullock carts, carry carts, rickshaw, bus, tractor, etc. He asked his uncle, when did this transportation start? His uncle put his hand on his back and said, train started in our country approximately 150 years back. Among all the vehicles which you are seeing on road, the bullock cart is the oldest. Before it, thousands of years back, man didn't have any means of transportation. He used to go from one place to another on foot. He used to go from one place to another place on foot. So students, what is being told here in this paragraph? It's a story narrated, a short story, incident narrated about Xavier and his family. They were going from Gandhinagar to Jamnagar by train. So while passing through different areas, he asked his uncle, when did transportation start? Why? Because he saw bullock carts, camel carts, many other vehicles, modes of transport on the road. So he asked, when did this transportation start? So his uncle told him, the oldest form of transportation was the bullock cart. Which one, students? The oldest form of transportation was bullock cart. That is the use of a bullock. Animals are used, okay? Which animal? Bullock. So bullock cart is the oldest mode of transport. Before that, before the invention of the cart, the main mode of transportation was walking. That is, man used to walk on foot from one place to another place. So, other vehicles were all invented after the invention of wheel. After many years of the invention of wheel, vehicles were invented. But the main mode of transport, first, the primary basic one is the bullock cart. Use of bullock was done, and this cart, that is the bullock cart, was used for transportation or from one place to another or for going from one place to another. So students, we will come to the first topic of this chapter, that is primitive and nomadic life. Now students, what do you mean by the word primitive? Here the word primitive means people of very old time, that is of ancient ages, okay? People who lived in old times, or you can say ancient ages, okay? That is our forefathers, great old forefathers. They were the ones who were known as primitive man, very old age, that is ancient ages. So people who lived approximately 20 lakh years ago. Here approximate figures are given, students. Approximately how many lakh years ago, students? 20 lakh years ago. The people who lived, they were known as primitive man. And more than that, maybe more than that. Here only approximate figure is given, 20 lakh years. But it can be more than that, okay? So people who lived in those times, ancient ages, 20 lakh years ago, they were known as primitive man, and they led a nomadic life. such things. He is known as a nomadic person or a nomad. Nomad is a person who roams or wanders here and there in search of food, water and shelter. So he led a nomadic life. Who? Primitive man. Primitive man means people of very old ages, ancient ages, approximately 20 lakh years ago or more than that, and they led a nomadic life. That is, they were nomads. And nomadic means a wanderer, a person who roams here and there, searches for food, water and shelter. And this stage of human life is called hunter and gatherer. Why? Because he also hunted animals for food. Because students, invention of fire and all such things were not done. Primitive stage we are talking about. So he had to eat something to survive. The basic feature of a human being is first what to eat something and drink water. So the basic feature of eating, the basic function of eating food was through animals. How? By killing animals. That is by hunting animals. So hunting was carried out. The primitive man used to eat the flesh of animals, and due to that, this stage of primitive man was known as hunter and gatherers. First we have this nomadic word, wanderer. Why? Because he used to roam here and there, search of food, water and shelter. So when he wandered here and there, he gathered many things. Okay. So gatherer word also will be over here. And he hunted animals. So henceforth, he was known as hunter and gatherer. Was it known as students? Hunter and gatherer. Okay. That is, he used to hunt animals and used to gather things to eat. It can be fruits, raw fruits from trees, or leaves or flowers, whatever he ate in those days, the primitive stage. So he used to gather those things. So he was known as a hunter and gatherer. Now students, in a textbook, on page number 6, the second paragraph, that is the heading, goes in this way, primitive and nomadic life. The second line in that, this word, this concept of hunter and gatherer, the spelling is mistakenly printed there. You have to change the spelling, students. It's hunter and gatherers. Okay, G-A-P-H-E-R-E-R. Okay, if you are going into the plural manner, E-R-E-R-S. Otherwise, gatherer. Okay, so change the spelling there, students. And he used to roam here and there, wander from one place to another in search of food, water and shelter. And he used to hunt animals like deer, then other birds, and fish also he used to eat. So animals of the forest, birds of the air and the fish of the sea, these were his main things of eating. These were the things which he ate. Why? Because cooking was not invented in those days. Fire was not invented. So it's quite natural. Cooking was not invented. But raw things he used to consume. And other than this, they also collected roots and fruits for their food. Just as I told you, roots of trees and plants and even fruits from trees he used to collect and eat. So we can say that gathered food from the nature in the form of fruits and other things which was found in the forest, and the other thing which he did was he hunted animals. So hunter and gatherer term was given to the primitive man in the first stage. Why? Because he gathered fruits and roots for his food and he hunted animals for his food. Now we saw, students, how man hunted and gathered food, but all this was not easy for man. For primitive man, all these things were not quite easy. How can we say like that, students? How can we say like that? We can say like that because hunting animals means he has to run after them. As soon as an animal sees a human being, it will not wait for it to get itself hunted. So that animal will run. It's quite natural. So man had to run after animals to hunt them. So sometimes to protect themselves, the animals attacked human beings. So attack of animals was also faced by the primitive man. Why? Because man wanted to hunt animals to eat them as food. But animals did not want themselves to be hunted as food for human beings. So they used to run. And sometimes to protect themselves, animals became very fierce and attacked these human beings. So the primitive man was always falling into the struggle of of being getting attacked by wild animals. Okay, then the primitive man used to wander in search of food. So what happened when he wandered? Man cannot be as fast as an animal. So when an animal runs at its full speed, the human being, that is the primitive man, cannot reach the speed of that animal, that specific animal, whichever animal. For example, we saw the deer, how he was hunting the deer. So the deer's speed cannot match the human being's speed, running speed. So man had to run after them. So animals are quite natural, wild animals quite fast in running. So from one place to another, he had to run after these animals to hunt them. So it was not easy for him to catch them. So not easy to catch these wild animals. Okay. So we saw that two main factors of hunting, the problems which he faced. First, the animals used to attack him because he is hunting them. So the animals want to protect themselves from being hunted as food. So they used to attack him. And secondly, it was not easy to catch these animals. These wild animals run very fast. So that speed cannot match the human being's running speed. So he used to be very tired by running after these wild animals. So these two problems were faced by the primitive man while hunting. And primitive man also used to wander from one place to another. He led a nomadic life. We already saw that. He used to wander from one place to another in search of food. We already know that. We know students, they cannot exist without food. For survival of a human being, he needs food. So he used to search for food from one place to another. So he learned how to eat which kind of food and which kinds of roots. All fruits and roots are not edible. Edible means cannot be consumed by human beings. Some are poisonous, some are good for health. So he knew the category of fruits and roots which had to be consumed by him. Okay, which one he should eat and which one is poisonous for him. And due to this, what happened? He learned which kind of things I should take in as my food. And animals like sheep, deer, goat, etc. were easy to hunt comparative to the other wild animals. And animals like sheep, deer, goat, etc. There are many such animals. We have sheep, deer, goat, etc. in our textbook. They are easy to hunt comparatively than the other animals. So primitive man used to wander from one place to another in search of specifically these animals. Why? Because he could match a little bit of his speed with them in due course of time. In the beginning it was very difficult to match their speed. But after some time, in due course of time, gradually he learned how to run after them at a greater speed and hunt them. Then the next factor was water. Students, we already know food, water and shelter are the main elements essential for the survival of a human being. So he began to roam from one place in search of water. He wanted to drink water which is pure. It is very essential for life. So he settled near places where water was found. For example, rivers and such other places, ponds where he can easily get water. So he stayed near or settled near sources of water. Okay, he stayed where water was available to him easily. So students, we saw the main topics here in primitive man and nomadic life. Primitive man means man of very ancient ages. Okay, and approximately figure is given here. 20 lakh years ago, people who lived in those days were known as primitive man, and that stage was specifically known as hunter and gatherer. Why? Because of two main factors. Which are those two factors, students? He hunted wild animals for food, and secondly, he gathered roots and fruits from plants and trees. Then we saw that it was not easy to hunt animals. Why? Because they used to attack him, and secondly, it was not easy to run after these animals. Then he came to know which all kinds of fruits and roots I should eat, which ones are poisonous for me, and which ones are edible, which can be eaten by me. Then sheep, goat, deer, etc. were the animals with whom he learned gradually in due course of time how to run after them. In the beginning it was of course difficult for him, but afterwards he learned how to run after them and catch hold of them to get them hunted. Then the next one was water. Water is very essential for our survival. So he began to search for water, and wherever he got a good source of water, he settled there for some time till that water source dried up. Okay? So students will come to the next topic, that is places of human habitation of primitive man in India. We'll study about India. Okay, general topic we saw. Now we'll study about India. Now there are three terms in this paragraph on page number 6. The very first line, just about picture 2.1, you have these three terms. The first one is archaeologists, second one is anthropologists, and third one is historians. Okay, so first term we will see archaeologists, second is anthropologists, and third one is historians. So students, let us see who is an archaeologist. Archaeologists are people who dig up the earth to find out remains of previous eras or previous ages, ancient ages. They are the ones who dig up the ground and take out remains of previous civilizations, of ancient ages of the primitive man. Okay, so whatever is there under the earth, beneath the earth, they dig those things, they take out remains and then tell us about it, about the previous eras, that is the previous ages, ancient ages. And anthropologists, who are anthropologists? The people who study about human origin. Anthropologist is a person who studies about human origin, culture, and all other details of human being. Okay. So, archaeologists and anthropologists. Next one is historian. Who is an historian? A person who is an expert in history. One who is an expert in history. So, you can say that in short, archaeologists, anthropologists, and historians are all connected with history. Yes, students, in the first chapter, we had two of these terms. Archaeologists and historians we had in the first chapter, that is Let's Know History in introduction. Okay, so anthropologist is a new term for you. So the remains are dug out from the earth, from beneath the earth, from below the earth by the archaeologists, and they in turn give information to the anthropologists. They study about human origin and culture, and the historian keeps the record of all these things which have been found out. Research has been done on history, that is, history means what? Past, whatever we had in our culture. So, how primitive man lived, everything. So, that is taken into consideration by a historian. He is an expert in history. A person who is an expert in history. So, students, these three terms we have in the very first line, just above picture 2.1, the second last paragraph. So, these people together, anthropologists, archaeologists, and historians, found out many places of habitation. Now, students, in the textbook, wherever you have this word habitation, it stands for the place where we dwell, where we live. Okay? So, all these experts in history, which are they? Archaeologists, anthropologists, and archaeologists. So, all these three experts, which are they? The ones who help in finding out source of history. Archaeologists, anthropologists, and historians. They together found out many places of habitation of primitive humans, that is primitive man. So, habitation word is mentioned in your textbook many times, which means that places where we live or places where we dwell. Okay. So, the places where primitive man lived gives us information about how or in which way of life they continued their living. So, we can say which all instruments they used, implements or tools they used, what all things they used to cut the stone, to cut wood. So all these things we can find out. Terms which we saw, historians, anthropologists, and archaeologists. So they found out many things in which they found out which sort of implements or tools were used by primitive man. And why did man use these tools? Why did the primitive man use these tools? To cut stone, to cut meat, and to cut wood. Okay, so these tools were either made of stone or they were made of. So, which sort of work was done by these implements? So, which sort of work was one? So, what were these implements made of? These implements are made of wood implements or tools were made of wood or stone. And sometimes they even made implements of bones. How students bones? Bones of animals which they hunted. So these were the main things used to make implements of tools by the primitive man. And sometimes they even made implements of bones. Okay? So we can come to know from these sources of history that the lives of hunter-gatherers and wanderers are associated with stone technology. Why students? Here the word stone is written. Why? Because implements of tools are made of stone also. So we can say that people of those days, the primitive man of those days, were associated with stone technology. Which technology students? Stone. And due to that era or that age was known as Paleolithic age. What was that era known as? Paleolithic era. Okay, that age was known as Paleolithic age. So, Stone Age, that is the age in which stone tools or implements were made and used, was known as Paleolithic. What is it known as? Paleolithic. And stones, which you can see on the screen, were used to cut vegetation and to scrape skin of animals. First, to cut vegetation, which are plants, roots, fruits, whatever they needed. To cut that, they use these stone implements. They use these stone implements, and then to scrape the skin of animals. Why? So that they can eat those animals after hunting. Okay? So two main uses of stone implements: to cut vegetation and to scrape the peel out the skin of animals so that they can eat those animals. And primitive man even used peels of trees and skins of animals to cover his body. Now we will talk about his clothing. We saw his food. Now what all did he wear? Okay. He did not have clothes like we have nowadays. He used to peel out the skin of the trees. Okay. Peel off the trees. That is the outer bark of the trees. And even he used to take out the skin of animals and cover his body. Okay. So these two things were mainly used by man to cover his body as his clothing. Okay. Peels of trees and skins of animals. Okay students. So students, we conclude this topic over here. We saw mainly two things. First, about the short incident with which this lesson starts about Xavier. We saw many modes of transport while going by train, and he asked his uncle his doubt. His uncle clarified his doubt by saying that bullock cart was the first mode of transport. Then we saw how the primitive man and nomadic life. Then we saw how the primitive man led a nomadic life by wandering here and there in search of food and water and shelter. So then we saw how he searched for water. He settled near sources of water, and the primitive man was known as, the first stage was known as hunter and gatherer. Then we saw the invention of stone tools. Bones were also used to make tools, and wood was also used. But Stone Age, or the era in which stone was used to make tools, was also known as Paleolithic. The word Paleolithic means related to Stone Age. And he used those tools to cut vegetation and scrape the skin of animals, peel off the skin of animals. And he used the peel of trees, outer bark of trees, to cover his body, and even the skins of animals to cover his body. And even sometimes used leaves of trees to cover his body, large leaves. Okay. So students, here we conclude this topic. Go through page number 6 properly, students, and then watch the videos clearly so that you will be very thorough with the concept. Thank you, students.